our shit together enough to get it going again.
And we are live. I thought I'd
Woohoo!
do that without Mike and Michael knowing about it, just to see how it went, because Mike's always
See, if I'd known, I would have had my book already up to show everybody.
5 seconds in. Nice. All right. So we are very happy to have with us this evening. Hey, Glenn, how you doing?
Hey, Glenn.
Happy to have with us this evening Michael R. Fletcher, who we will refer to as Michael, so that we do not confuse the Mike of the baldness and Michael of actual writing ability.
Michael of the baldingness.
Oh, your hair even still looks dark too, even though I see you've got that kind of black and white thing going right now. Very artsy.
Oh yeah, it's the morally gray author.
Oh.
Nice.
Is that the author, or is that just the writing, or is that the actual? Is that?
No, I'm a sweetheart. It's the writing that's dark. I'm a total teddy bear.
I mean, you're Canadian, so that's all you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this entire mythology of being polite.
Well, you know how to get 6 Canadians out of a pool, right?
Offer them a beer.
Will you get out of the pool, please?
No.
A beer would probably do it too.
Yeah.
You've seen Canadian bacon, right?
I mean, yeah. Canadians don't actually eat that much Canadian bacon.
No, but the movie
on menus when we go to the U.S.
with John Candy.
Oh yeah. I've seen the movie.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, the Canadians are just taking all this abuse at a hockey game, and they're just like, you know what? And then John Candy says, "This beer sucks," and a massive fight breaks out, and it's war between the U.S. and Canada at that point. So,
yeah.
Mike, if you haven't seen it, and I know you haven't,
I have not.
Great movie.
It's no Strange Brew, but it's pretty good.
I never actually saw all that either, Strange Brew. I saw some of it, but
You're sad.
So many great lines from that movie too. Like,
for Strange Brew?
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm talking about doesn't mean I'm lying.
Hey, Rosie, sorry about the mental breakdown, eh? Anyway. Yeah, and the nice thing, that's one of those movies that when you quote it, you know when people have actually seen it. Like, most people just give you a blank stare, but every now and then you'll find that guy. It's like, oh, I know what you're talking about. So that's all right. We're just basically babbling here for a few minutes, Michael, as we are wont to do, to try to give people a chance to kind of come online here and everything, and hopefully we'll get a few people, and then we can start talking about your books and your writing. So whereabouts in the Great White North are you calling from?
So I am in a city called Brampton, which is kind of hour-ish north of Toronto.
Okay, so you're in Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Arthur, Sebastian, welcome. How you doing? All right. This is Sebastian. He for some reason, Michael, he's one of these guys who has written just a pile of stuff and hasn't actually published anything yet, despite it actually being pretty good. And
never let doubt stop you. You just my philosophy has always been just charge ahead and get that shit published, and
right.
And other people will decide whether it's good or bad, because I certainly can't tell.
And it's going to, Sebastian, excuse me, it's going to seem like I'm ragging on you here, and I'm not really. He's trying to make it perfect, not the story perfect, but all the shit that goes around it.
Yeah.
Right. And I fully applaud what he's trying to do in this big kind of coming into the published sphere and everything. You know what? 80%. What was it Patton said? I'll take a plan that's 80% correct and go about it violently rather than a plan that's 100%.
Yep.
So
I learned a saying. I used to work in the music industry, recording bands and stuff. And the saying back then was, an album is never finished. It's given up on. You just hit the point where you don't know how to make it any better. You don't know what else you can possibly do. You kind of give up and you release it, because otherwise you'll spend forever working on it.
Sure, we'd all still be on our first books.
books are the same thing. I could tinker with sentences forever, but at some point you kind of, you got to start working on the next book.
Yeah, I mean, the surest way to find a mistake in a book, or the surest way to come up with a new idea for this chapter, is to publish your book. And all of that will be readily evident the minute you hit it. But,
Yeah, I've got this rule. Once I hit publish, I never look at the book again.
That's right.
Until I'm writing the sequel or book 3, and then I have to reread parts of it to remember what the fuck happened.
Right.
I can't remember. Yeah, I've been taking way too long on book 4 of my current series, and my draft right now is loaded with like highlighted. It's like get name of character, find out what the town is. I have to go back and read all that stuff.
Michael, serious question for you, which doesn't happen often for me. How long have you waited between the book 2 and book 3 or whatever, the next book in the series? How long have you waited before you start writing the next one? And do you remember anything at that point?
So I tend not to write in order because I basically have a squirrel's brain. I finished book 1 of one series, and then I think, I should really get started on book 2 of that series. But then I think, I've got this other much shinier idea that I want to chase.
Right.
All right.
Always.
Book 1 of some other series. And then I think I should really get back to that first series and write book 2 for it. But I've got this other cool shiny idea. So I write book 1 of another series, and then I feel guilty and go, fuck. And I go back and write book 2 of the first one. But by then I've forgotten, what happened in there. So often there are 1 to 3 other books in between, book 1 and 2 and book 2 and 3. But luckily I A, spend a lot of time writing, and B, write fairly quickly. So I'm able to sort of maintain a semi-sane publishing pace.
So the difference now between someone like you and someone like me, right? I have had to have the cold, stark reality check when doing my books in order of looking at it and saying to myself, is anybody actually waiting for this next book?
Yeah, no, I have the same thought.
Whereas you are actually selling books and actually do have people waiting for your next book, but they're okay waiting that long and just going to the next thing?
I've never asked.
Yeah, don't ask a question if you don't want to know the answer.
Yeah, I figure my books are going to be better if I'm writing what I want to write. If I'm invested in the project, it's going to be a better book. If I'm writing it because I feel like I have to, it's not going to be as good. So if if it's 2 years later that I return to a series, it's usually because I finally feel like I've got the next idea, the continuation that's solid enough and that's going to keep me, interested for 120,000 words, whatever, length it's going to be. Rather than sort of forcing myself, it's probably a bad business plan. I would probably do better off to write in order and, focus. But I get bored easily and I need to be entertained. So, I like chasing the shiny ideas.
So you just don't do this for the money, the fame, and the women. You have to be entertained when you write as well.
Yeah. Also, I'm not allowed to have.
I think if we're honest about it, we write for ourselves mostly anyway. And if other people happen to like it, great.
Yeah.
But,
I tried once writing to market. I was like, okay, I'm going to write a YA fantasy novel to market. And that book was Blackstone Heart, which was apparently neither young adult nor remotely to market. So I just abysmally failed at that. So I gave up after that.
Which one was that?
Blackstone Heart, the first in the Obsidian Path series. The book's done well, but it was not a young adult fantasy novel at all.
So how many books have you written now?
I don't know. So I think I've got 17 or 18 published. Somewhere in there. I think I've got maybe 17 published, and then I've got a Long Island Memorial will drop in July, and Dust of the Dead will drop in August. And then I think That's everything. And right now I'm about a third of the way into a sequel to Dogged.
I
Nice.
have found the following. Mike, go ahead. While I find some pictures here to upload to show people his books.
I was just going to say that I too wrote a book that has dogs in it. They're dog aliens.
Yep, and there you go. You get the small screen. So, how do these are all one series, yeah?
Yep.
Or
So that's
these-
the Manifest Delusion series. So Beyond Redemption, that was my debut fantasy. That was published by Harper Voyager in 2015.
Oh, wow.
It was in, Big Five traditional publisher terms, a monstrous flop. So I ended up self-publishing The Mirror's Truth, book 2, because they passed on it. They just said sales aren't there to support, buying a sequel. And then Mirror's Truth did really well because the follow-up to a traditional flop is actually indie success. If your traditional release sells 10,000 copies, the publisher is horrendously disappointed, never wants to talk to you again. If your self-published book sells 10,000 copies at $4 a book, you're really happy.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Beyond Redemption is a traditionally published book and a fantasy, because as a fantasy reader, I look at that cover and go, oh, that's a Western. I'm out.
Yeah, a lot of people have that same response.
So that's really their fault.
I think there were mistakes made on both sides. For sure, I also did not understand the publishing game, and it being my first time.
Sure.
I signed a publishing deal and I was like, yay, they're going to take care of marketing and promotions. I don't have to do any of that shit. I'm just going to focus on writing the next book. That is not the case at all. I think they were expecting me to do probably a lot more. I just didn't realize that I should have been working.
They're expecting you to do all the stuff that you have to do now as an indie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yay. Thank you very much, traditional
Yeah.
publishing. For
there are advantages to it as well, but it's a trade-off.
This is petty of me. This is one of my pet peeves about fantasy stuff. It's more anime, but where does the guy on the War to End All? That sword is as tall as him. He must just have to carry it around because he can't put it on his back. He'd never be able to draw it.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
it's totally unrealistic. Honestly, though, I am absolutely fine with that.
It
Because
looks cool.
the entire book is reality falling apart. I mean, the entire series is absolutely batshit insane.
And you need something that long to poke whatever it is he's facing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's
But
such a
At
great
least
scene.
the blade isn't, the blade isn't 1.5 feet wide, like a tabletop or something. That's all right. Okay. I should be nicer to our guests, shouldn't I, Mike?
Why start now?
That's fair. Okay. Then what do we got here? You have so many books. Your covers kick ass, by the way.
Yeah, I've been really lucky to work with some phenomenal artists. So those are Felix Ortiz, crazy
Okay.
good artist.
Yeah, that and End of Sorrow that's awesome.
Yeah.
And this is a second series. Are you sticking with trilogies, or do you have any of those series that goes into Robert Jordan kind of?
So
space?
the Obsidian Path is now a trilogy of 4 books.
Okay.
The Lord of the Empty Mirror was just recently published. Otherwise, it's mostly trilogies. So my other one is the City of Sacrifice trilogy. Dogged is about to turn into a duology later in the year. And then Dust of the Dead is going to be multiple standalones written in the same world.
So are you writing full time now?
Yeah, since 2021.
All right. Okay. So you found whatever tweak that made this a something that paid the bills?
Yeah, I mean, it helps that my wife has a good job.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Healthcare. Woohoo! Oh no, you're in Canada. You're good.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't need to play that stupid game. All right. Even better.
Yep.
Live in a van down by the river. You're good. Okay. So wait, I've got more pictures here because you have how many books you putting out a year?
I think if you look overall, the average is somewhere between 1 and 2. Okay. But they tend to come in bunches. So that's City of Sacrifice trilogy. Because what I do is I've got an agent. I'll write the first book in a series, and then I'll send it to him. He's got a year to shop it to publishers. If he finds, if it finds a home, awesome. But while he's shopping that for a year, I'm still writing other stuff. Mm-hmm. So the way it went down recently is I can't even remember what I sent him. At one point, he had 2 different novels from me that he was shopping. And they both kind of hit the rejection, like were rejected by all the trad publishers around the same time, just because stuff gets delayed. You're waiting, on people all the time for that. And so I wound up with 4 books because I'd written 2 more while he was shopping those 2. So I wound up with 4 books to publish. And so I basically, like this year, I'm dropping a book every 3 months roughly, and then writing another book or 2 maybe in that time frame. So it should be a year and a half of a book every 3-4 months.
That was the idea, Tim McKay. I just thought maybe you should see our guest, as opposed to Mike or I. So you're writing a couple books a year. Are you writing multiple books? I'm going to throw you out. Are you writing multiple books at the same time?
No, and shit. Actually, technically, yes. I was gonna lie. So I don't usually do that. It's not quite at the same time. So right now, what's going on is, like I said, I'm writing the sequel to Dogged. I'm reading Rob Hayes' Herald, the God Eater trilogy, trilogy of trilogies, because he's nuts. And I read Hammerfall by him as well, and it was really good. So I reached out and said, hey, I've got a really bad idea. Do you want to co-write a book together? And he said, yes. And then he actually spat an idea at me because he'd been playing around with, I guess he already had it in his back pocket. He had an idea for a world and some plot. So Rob and I have been talking about that. And we're we've each agreed to dedicate 1 day a week to that book. So Fridays is that project. And then the other 4 days a week is, working on the Dogged sequel. So technically I am soon, probably starting this week, writing two books at the same time.
A co-authored book, is it going to be one of those things where you each take a different POV? But I mean, it sounds like you guys are really kind of hashing out the story so you know what's going to happen. And or is it going to be one of those, he does a chapter, you do a chapter?
Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We'll have one main POV each. And then we decided we wanted to be able to show a bunch of smaller background POVs as well to sort of flesh things out and show different aspects of the story. So how many in the end we'll have, I'm not sure. I'm guessing probably maybe 3 POV characters each. We're neither of us likes to do a ton of world building. So we're doing enough that we're sort of on the same page, and then we're just going to launch into the story.
So if you don't like to do world building, what are you spending your 120,000 words on across all of these books?
Oh, I world build. I do a little bit of world building in advance. It's hilarious. So sometimes I do a ton, and none of it ever makes it into the book because it's so background, it doesn't matter. What I like to do is get enough that I have a feeling for the world, and then I world build as I write. And so I'll keep a world building document still. And as details come up, I can just drop them in the document. So by the time I finish a book or a series, I'll have a world building document for that series that might be 30,000 words on its own.
All right. Now, are you one of these sick people that uses an Excel sheet, or do you just put it in Word or something?
Yeah, I just write in Word. I don't like wanky, anything that's a distraction, Scrivener, anything that allows too much control is just for me personally.
No, you're singing to me right now, Michael. This is all.
It's crazy, but I write in chronological order. Yep. I start at the beginning of the story and I end at the end of the story. I don't know. That's the way my brain works.
I can never understand that when people say they bounce around a story like that. It's like, oh, I'll write chapter 8 and then I'll do it's like, what the heck? I don't know how people do it.
And then they spend all this time afterwards trying to piece it all together and going, oh, wait, they teleported to this other scene and there's no in between. And how did he get there? It's like, I don't know. It seems like the difficult way of doing it to me, but I know it works for some people.
Yeah.
I don't believe them. I think they're really doing it the way we do. They just want to sound, different. So, have you ever thought about, and please for your own sanity say no, ever writing a choose your own adventure style book?
Oh my God. Yes. I mean, I used to joke that it was going to be a choose your own potato book, and long backstory, doesn't matter. So my background is all role playing, TTRPGs, and which is really just, it's a choose your own adventure with a lot more options.
Yeah.
So how many options?
That's where I come from.
How many options choose your adventure books?
Sorry, what?
In your choose your adventure books, how many options do you give people?
I'd like 4 or 5 options. I want people to feel like, they've got some control over their lives before I kill them off.
Mike, in your work in progress, how many different endings did you have?
So, and the reason Rose been asking these questions is that I started doing my choose your own adventure in Excel so that I could be like, go to C1, A2, B, whatever, and then it's just easier in cells. And I stopped when I had 60 endings. And I was like,
that reaction.
So I'm going to pare it down because you get killed by centaurs a lot. I'm like, you get shot in the eye, you get shot in the neck, you get shot in the heart. I'm like, okay, do we have to go anatomically through everything? The thymus. He found the thymus with that shot.
Looks like a pincushion.
So I'm paring it down to like maybe 24 endings, but. I've given up on it for now because I'm like, no, it's just exhausting.
Let's ask to be asked. Is 24 too many?
No, that sounds reasonable to me.
So instead, I'm writing my book where I'm killing off other authors.
Very great.
Specifically, Tim Wolfe and Trendy Cunningham. They're both getting killed in the next chapter I write. So,
all right. Let's see. What else do we have here?
Oh, yeah. So Ghosts of Tomorrow was the first book I ever wrote that was originally published as 88 by a Canadian micropress. Later got the rights back, wrote a couple more chapters, hired my wife's brother's wife's nephew to do the art, who turned out to be, I'm gapping on his name, and John Anthony DiGiovanni. Who is now about 1,000 times more famous than I am. He's doing concept art for Disney and stuff.
Nice.
But that was Ghosts of Tomorrow was his first book cover before he blew up and became so expensive nobody can afford him. Norilska Groans, that was co-written with Clayton Snyder, kind of Russian noir fantasy, a lot of fun. Swarm and Steel is a standalone in the Manifest Delusions world. Beyond Redemption, all those. And the Millennial Manifesto was sort of like this longish novella. And really, I just wanted to write a millennial terrorist guidebook. And so that's what that is.
So Ghosts of Tomorrow and Norilska Groans, again, I see Western, except for the swords, right? And the fact the guy has 4 arms, I guess. That might be a giveaway.
That's a clue.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the covers. All my covers, they're just my books. They're always, the scene is always it's seen from a book. So that's literally just a captured moment in the book. That's one of the main characters. He's a 14-year-old assassin in a mechanical body who thinks he's basically playing computer games, but he's killing people.
Okay.
It was good fun.
So, a question for you about the Millennial Manifesto. Does he get a trophy for killing people?
No, it's much dirtier than that because everything goes horrendously wrong pretty much right away.
Okay.
But, I think my favorite line from that is only barbarians plot terrorism before tea.
So do barbarians put their jam on top of the cream or the cream on top of the jam?
You don't put jam in tea? God damn it. Fucking Americans.
No, on your scone.
Oh, my scone. Yeah, tea and scones. I don't know. I don't put jam on my scones. I might be a barbarian.
Well, you're certainly an uncultured person.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
A Canadian barbarian. I'm trying to picture this.
You don't have to go that far back. I think World War II will give you plenty of examples, Mike. War crime is a Canadian word. Anyway. Drawn and quartered by centaurs. Yes. Yes, you can. So I guess now 26 minutes is a good time to ask anybody who hasn't been here before or who has been here before and hasn't done it to go hit like and subscribe, please. So Mike and I can continue to afford, based on all the money we make on this YouTube channel, to bring you high quality programming like this. Because like PBS, our national funding has been cut off. There you are.
I was going to say, I put all my money towards hair care products.
It's money well spent. Michael, what your website, aside from a lovely kind of forward and introduction by Mark Lawrence of Spiffbo fame, right? Is that him?
Yep. That's him. You're in Spiffbo. You might want to know this.
I still am, by the way, which is kind
Not
of
any longer. I mean, if you get Mark Lawrence wrong, you're out.
Yeah. Oh, he's vindictive. He's mean. He will cut you.
But yes, he wrote you a very nice kind of forward to your website. Everybody should go to michaelrfletcher.com and read that. It doesn't take long. But it says that you are a grim writer. So how is your stuff? I don't think I've ever read Grimdark. So what would I be expecting if I was to read that? I mean, I've read Uriel, so I guess probably I have read Grimdark.
Yeah. I've never tried to write Grimdark. I don't think of myself as a Grimdark writer. I am, because everybody who reads my stuff says, oh, this is Grimdark. So, it's not really up to me. To me, I just think I'm writing dark fantasy. I try not to shy from showing the scenes that I think need to happen. So I'm not gonna sort of no fade to black on most stuff. It's it's in there, but my goal is never to be gratuitous about this. I have a way I want to tell a story, and then I'm going to do my best to tell it that way. Apparently that leans towards dark and grimdark. I know. So Mark Lawrence has a poll on his website. Grimdark, we're nailing it down, I think is the title. And people go and vote on books, not in terms of quality, but in terms of grim darkness, however you want to define that. And last I saw, Beyond Redemption is sitting at the top of that list. So apparently it's fairly dark.
It's the grimmest, darkest.
Apparently.
Nice. Well, you've got to be number one at something.
Would rather it was sales, but
don't we all, right? How is your day scheduled then as a full-time writer, which is something I think most of us kind of aspire to be, even depending, I'm sure our versions of success would be very different, right? Success for me would just being able to be able to do it full time, regardless of, so I didn't have to wake up to an alarm clock or go to work, right? That would be success. So what's your day look like, generally speaking, from a writing perspective? Do you have days where you just do like marketing stuff and
so I don't schedule myself. My goal is 2,500 words a day. If I get that, I'm happy. If I do 1,000 words, that's fine. If I'm rolling and I get 3,000 or 4,000, that's amazing. I'm not going to beat myself up if I do 500 words or 0. On days where I'm not sort of motivated to write or it's just not flowing, I will fuck around on social media and call that marketing and promoting. Sometimes, so I'm sort of like a hobbyist musician. I've got a little recording studio in the basement. Sometimes I'll just goof off and record music. I find that sort of keeps me sane, and motivated to keep going. I think if I turn this into a job, it will become less fun and I will be less interested in doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't write on weekends. That's family time. Mornings are family and getting my kid to school and stuff. Evenings are family. So it's, kind of treat it like a job, except my boss is mostly napping.
Okay. You get a cat as a boss. What's on your turntable generally then? What kind of music if you're into that kind of thing?
I am an unrepentant metalhead. I like to write to an absolute crushing wall of death metal. I want to hear the cups in the kitchen rattling in the cupboards. Basically, I use it to sort of as a shield between me and reality. So like I can't hear anything else. It's just somebody screaming something about something I don't even know what. Can't understand what he's saying. Is just rage. And so that's my mood music. That's my background.
You can write.
And you write grimdark, you say?
Huh. Yeah, I think we know where it comes from now.
Yeah, so that might be a part of it. There are rare times when I write in silence, depending on the mood, what I'm going for. Oddly, when I'm editing, that has to be silence. There's no music when I'm editing because I need different part of my brain. I need to focus.
Yeah. I've never been into metal like that, but I bought an album once back in the day by a group called Pylon, and it was awful. But the LP had 110 songs on it. Right?
An LP with 110, those are short songs.
90 of them were on one side. Right? So yeah, they were like 5 seconds of screaming. It would actually take you longer to read the name of the song than the song took. But the album was cool. It looked neat, so I bought it because I was dumb. But yeah, I don't know how people write with any kind of music at all, much less metal.
Yeah, I think you got to find what works for you, and if it's silence, that's cool. I mean,
I can write it. Just I can't have lyrics on. Like death metal, you can't understand anything, so it's just noise. Yeah. I if like classical music is on, if I play like the theme to Batman when I'm writing it, a climatic scene, I'm like, ooh, let's go.
What were you listening to on chapter 18?
Silence.
Yeah. Never mind. You don't tell me. So what is the thing that pulls you away from your work when you're sitting at your computer? What's your guilty habit of rabbit hole going down time suck?
Social media has been a pain in the ass. I'm getting better at ignoring it. So I've got a nice computer audio set up in the basement here. I have to get away from this. So now I bought the absolute cheapest, shittiest little laptop on the planet. I stripped everything off it except for Word and an internet connection, so it autosaves to the cloud.
So it's like a Chromebook.
It is. It can do nothing but Word. There's no. I don't even have a browser on it, so that keeps me focused. I usually throw my phone somewhere in some other room, but if it's sunny outside, goddamn, I'm gonna go have a beer in the backyard. That's probably my guilty I should be writing is, beer in the sun.
Well, that begs the question then, is there a time that's too early for beer?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I generally don't day drink, and I don't drink while I'm writing, weirdly. But if you've ever been really naughty in the evening, and you wake up feeling absolutely wretched, I'm sure you can't relate at all. One of the best things you can do is have a shower beer the next morning.
Yeah. All right. Kind of get you back in the mood for the day. Excellent.
Yeah, just get you going.
You ever see your wife, the kids off to school, your wife off to work, and then just go, right, fuck it.
Oh yeah. Like I've had those days. I mean, I've got some friends who are also self-employed, and every now and then someone will send out a message like, how about we all blow off today and we meet at the pub? And I was like, yeah, let's do that.
That sounds awesome.
It is. It's pretty awesome.
I'm going to say this with all due love and respect, but I hate you.
You got to remember, I started writing in 2000.
Pure jealousy.
It took over a decade. I worked in a warehouse as a forklift driver. I woke up at 4:00 in the morning. I wrote for 3 hours before going to work. I wrote during my lunch break and every break at work. I wrote in the evenings when I got home. I did that for, I guess, near a decade, before it sort of reached a point where it was making enough money where it kind of made sense to maybe work from home and skip that.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I do think that a lot of people in the States work simply because they need the health insurance. And if it wasn't for that, I think a lot of people would probably retire earlier than they do. Yeah. That'd be
I know it's a much bigger political discussion, and there's all kinds of stuff there, but
well, I mean, 250 years, it's not really political.
Yeah.
It's just
amazing.
It's neither red nor blue at this point. It's just freaking.
Yeah. So whatever. My one New Year's Eve, she was 7 at the time. My daughters had appendicitis. We had to rush her New Year's Eve to the hospital for emergency surgery. We were in the hospital for 3 days before we brought her home. We were in a private room the entire time. And the surgeon came in New Year's Eve to do this. And at the end of it, we got home and the total cost was $0. That's healthcare.
Yep. When I was stationed in England, my son was born, and my wife we brought her to the hospital. I think she spent 3 or 4 days there. We did pay for the private room, £10 a day, right? And then we signed one piece of paper when we left. We never got a bill. We had a healthcare worker that came to the house like twice a week for the first couple of months to help her out. And then we found there was like 50 quid in the checking account every month until we left, because apparently that's what happens over there. Is like if a kid is born there, they get £50 a month until they're 18.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got something similar here. I don't actually know what the dollar value is, but
we still have the sofa that we bought with that money. So and the son, we have him too. But,
yeah. So I had to go to the hospital, get a couple stitches from work, so workers' comp case, and so company paid for everything. And then I got a bill from the hospital, and I was like, well, workers' comp, shut up. And they sent me like 4 more times. They sent me the bill for $1,700, and I just kept throwing it away. And the last one said, "We're going to send this to a collection agency," and I threw it away, and I haven't heard anything since. So I was like, "You got paid. Shut up. Leave me alone."
Aside from the cost, and this is nothing about books. I'm sorry to anybody who's watching this.
We wandered off there a little bit, yeah.
Aside from the cost, the worst thing here really is the just, if any other business ran as poorly as the billing of healthcare in the United States, they would be bankrupt. They would just be out of business because healthcare billing in this country is so jacked. But anyway, having said that, we're done with that now. Let's do something fun. Michael, pick one of your characters that you really like, or you really hate, I guess.
We're going to try to kill them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go with Witch Dig from the Manifest Delusions series. He is sociopath.
Did you say Witch Tick?
Witch Tig.
Witch Tick. Okay, that makes more sense.
Tig with a G. So anyway, it's a German name. He believes he is the world's best swordsman, but because he's nuts and the reality bends to his delusions, it's possible he actually is.
Okay. So I'm going to roll some dice, and we're going to send Witch Tig to some alternate place. And we've had some authors go to really extremes to keep their character from dying. So I'll tell you now, it's an alternative universe. You don't have to stop writing the series. It's okay. And then we're going to set up an encounter.
You can't write about him ever again.
I'm good with that.
Then we're going to set up an encounter, and then we're going to say, tell us what happens. And this can go one of two ways. You can take the bull by the horns and tell us the whole story, or you can say, well, he's going to try this. Is he successful? In which case I will roll, and I think I rolled 10 out of 13 rolls were under an 8 last time.
Yeah, I think you rolled 3 out of 5 or 1s or 2s.
Yeah, so it would go spectacularly terrible if you had me roll. So just know that either way you want to go, I'm fine with it, but just know. So the setup is he goes into ye old apothecary shop, and the apothecary says, hey, you know what? Label fell off of this. It's 100% will work, but I don't know what it does. So what is your favorite color?
Witch Dig probably likes red.
So it is a red fizzy potion.
Ooh.
And then he gets sucked through a vortex that we're not explaining how, and he goes to some alternate place, and now I will roll a bunch of dice and set up the scene for you.
Well, you set up the scene. So you're going to have a choice. Your character has a choice. He can either have a random common item, in which case he will have an encounter with a random common creature, or he can have a weapon, in which case he will have an encounter with a random mythical magical creature.
Okay.
And he doesn't get to bring anything with him other than, he's wearing clothes because, it's a family show.
If he has an innate magical ability or something, that's still
he's just delusional and extremely unwise.
just a dude. Okay.
Oh, I like this guy a lot.
So item or weapon?
If it's a sword, a weapon. If it's not a sword, random item is cool.
You don't know what the weapon will be.
You get to pick random item or weapon.
All right, let's
but
go.
You don't get to know what.
Yep, let's go for a weapon.
Weapon. Awesome.
Okay. So Witch Tig has been sent to the deck of an airship during a thunderstorm.
Ooh, that's new.
So there are sudden tilts, loose cargo sliding hither and yon, and risk of being blown overboard.
Excellent.
So that is the setting. He has his red fizzy potion that he does not know what he does, but now I do. Great. And you said a weapon. So he gets, what is 15? He has a javelin.
Which is great on a bouncing airship. Yeah, very useful.
And
ground and stand still.
And on this airship, the pilot, who does not like the look of your character and is going to have to expel him now that they're up, is of course an ogre.
Ooh, an ogre. Nice.
So, and I have to do this because no one believes my rolling is as bad as it is. So let me adjust my camera. Oh, look at that, my book. Who knew? So, which did the ogre is 40 feet away, staring daggers at him.
So Witchdig's not super bright, but he is very, very confident. So he'll start by trying to explain to the ogre that they really shouldn't fight because the ogre doesn't have a chance here, and because Witchdig is the world's best swordsman. He will also probably try and hide his javelin behind his back to disguise the fact that he doesn't actually have a sword.
So he's going to taunt the ogre.
Oh yeah, no, you always start by convincing your opponent that they don't have a chance in his world.
Are there
he's
other
not bright
people
enough to understand that he's not there.
Are there other people or anything on this ship, Mike?
No.
Just the two of them.
Yep. Witchtig is a stowaway.
Okay, so the ogre is up there on the deck with the steering thing, and your guy is down on the main deck, and nobody else.
Correct.
All right, interesting.
But there's cargo sliding hither and yon.
Okay, and I would think that the ogre will. I'll be your huckleberry. Yeah. All right. So ogre has a giant, like ogreish kind of scimitar sword, I guess. And
I was going to go with club, but that's fine. Scimitar, that works.
Yeah, bad disposition. Well, he's on a pirate ship.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, he'll start walking down to meet you.
All right. So how big is this ogre?
Bigger than you.
Quite large, right? Yeah.
I'd probably go about 8 feet.
I'm guessing Witchtig isn't seeing the spark of intelligence in his eyes or even understanding.
Oh, he understands you perfectly.
Oh, okay.
He just doesn't believe you. He's not very smart, so he doesn't believe he's facing the best swordsman.
Right. He understands that something showed up on his ship and immediately started talking shit to him.
While maintaining his poise and balance and checking to make sure his hair is okay, Witchdig will back away from the ogre, probably trying to keep as much shit between him and the ogre as humanly possible. And probably make one last attempt at convincing him that, a sword fight is really a bad idea. Maybe this time because, in fact, he doesn't have a sword, whereas the ogre does. And so it's hardly cricket.
Okay, you only have a few feet to back up before you kind of hit that wall.
Okay, we got a fairly small space then.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, he's going to go with plan B.
Already on plan B. I like it.
Hold out the javelin and say, "Here, hold this for me, please."
He's going to give the ogre his javelin.
Yeah, he's going to say, "Here, hold this for me, please."
Okay.
No, a resounding no. But he does knock it out of your hand.
Ooh, okay. It's time for desperate measures, and he does love red fizzy drinks. So I think he's just going to guzzle that fucker. See what happens.
Okay. So do you want me to say what it is? It is the elixir of vitality. It instantly restores health and increases stamina for an entire hour. So he can run in circles for an hour now.
All right. I guess he'll start with that and take a look over the edge and see how far down the ground is.
I'm guessing, as it's an airship, that it's not high by our standards of high, but higher than his human bones would allow him to jump.
Is the airship called the Hindenburg by any chance?
So yeah, jumping is probably not your best option.
Right.
Flying would be great if you could do that. But
flying would have been good.
Oh, you can fly, but you just can't. Well, you can land too, but only once.
Yeah, not well. Yeah. All right. Yeah, see, Witch Dig not well cut out for encounters like this. This ogre is impervious to his charm. I think he's doomed.
Here's your situation right now. The ogre was close enough where he could knock, you're holding the thing out and he could knock it away. So he's just about in swinging distance. And your weapon is now up against the side of the ship. Mike,
but his hair is still perfect.
Mike, roll me a die, and if it's odd, the ship will roll, so his javelin will roll back toward him.
It rolls back towards him.
Okay.
That is a 9. I'm rolling good today.
All right. I guess grab the javelin and try and use it to maintain some sort of distance between him and the ogre while he probably tries to charm him, talk him into, sharing a pint or something. And, hey, this has just been a terrible misunderstanding.
So you're going to die for the javelin?
Yeah, dive for the javelin and, hope for the best.
Mike?
Yes, sir.
Dive for the javelin.
Are you going to tell me what I need to roll, or?
No.
Okay. That's a 1.
As you're diving for the javelin, the chip hits some turbulence. You do make a lovely dive, but it's right on your head, and you smack into the gunnel of the ship wall there. Your javelin does roll back into you, though. And the ogre is now laughing at you. Something fierce. And he's talking about how much he's going to enjoy throwing you overboard in pieces.
That seems fair. Yeah, how would Witch Dig handle this?
And his hair is messed up now, too.
Oh, wait, no, that's unacceptable. That's just too much. All right, well, I guess he's still conscious, right? So kind of use the javelin to get back to his feet.
Okay. We'll allow it.
Yeah. If he's feeling like it's not a sword fight, so that's his only one skill.
Mike,
So
roll me.
there's some sort of like big.
You think, Mike, give me a 15 or better, Mike.
How about a 20?
Huh, how about that? So the ogre, because you and he are the only ones on the ship, has a little realization that your company, at least, and you did offer him a sword fight, and he's kind of laughing at you because you obviously have no sword. He points to a rack of swords to your right.
It's very kind of him. So, wander on over to the rack of swords, fixing his hair on the way. If there's a nice sort of a little spot of sunshine where it catches the color just right, maybe take a moment to, pose there. Help himself to whatever a nice looking sword is.
Okay. Yeah.
He looks marvelous.
Oh, good. Yeah, now he's happy. Give the ogre one last chance to admit that he doesn't have a chance in a sword fight, and then have at kill him if he's not into going for pints or something.
Now
he is extremely confident and not bright enough to understand that he's not in his world anymore, where the rules would be in his favor.
Okay. Have at it, I guess. The ogre will give you first go. Is your guy a good swordsman?
Oh yeah. No, he's genuinely a skilled swordsman, but in his world, his delusions really push it above any sort of human level. But that's his world.
Okay. So because of the ship moving and blah, 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 but it is a big target, 14 should do it.
How about a 20? 2 in a row.
Get the hell out.
The Lords of Chaos like me.
Wow. That doesn't roll 20s.
A 1, then 2 20s in a row. There's no in between.
Okay, so yeah, he dives forward and gives the ogre a cut on either cheek just to show off, and disarms him. And the ogre, of course, is perplexed. Let's say.
When you say disarm, do you mean he just knocks the weapon out, or does he literally disarm him?
Knocks the weapon out. It's kind
Oh,
of like
that's not much less fun.
a little cut on each cheek, and just to show that he's the man. And
That would be classic witch dig.
yeah, I figure it sounds like something he would do. Okay, so now what's your guy do?
Okay, so now the world has behaved exactly the way he expected. Probably give the ogre the option of either surrendering and taking him down to the ground to whatever the nearest pub is so they can have a pint, or go fetch his sword and, he can try again.
What do you think, Mike? Should we even roll for it? Or is this ogre of a kind of forgiving nature, realizing he's dealing with someone who's simple?
Well, I think we should roll. And an 18, because I am on a hot streak. I am not going to roll anything above a 4 till July.
That did not turn out anywhere near where I thought that was going to go. So yeah, he brings him up to the main deck and shows him how to steer a ship, and they gently waft down and tie it up at wherever and go have a beer.
That's hilarious. I tried as much as possible to just stick to witch dig type decisions, even when they're just horrendously the wrong ones.
But that is a really good example of why we do this, is because to get people to know one of your characters. And I think that showed a character better than most, I think. I like that character.
Yeah, well, he is a lot of people's favorite character because he's just so utterly confident, and yet, when you get to see more inside what's going on, it's, there are a lot of it's all undermined by all these other insecurities, in his relationships and stuff. But he really does believe he's the greatest swordsman in the world.
So I have to ask now, what book is he in?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
That's Beyond Redemption.
Beyond Redemption, okay. And does he appears in these 3 books?
Yep, he's in all 3.
All right.
And do you have audiobooks for that?
Yep, audiobooks for all 3.
All righty. I know what I'm doing.
Well,
although I had to listen to Dogged first because there's a dog on the cover, so.
Yeah, that one, the Dogged has surprised me. I had this, what I thought was so I wrote a short story for Grimdark magazine called The Last War Dog. And I loved the character so much, I decided I wanted to write a book. And it just kind of, it got away from me. It was way more fun than I expected. And then the response afterwards has been insane. For me, it was sort of a fun idea that I didn't take too seriously. And then people just seem to love the character in the book, which is, it's nice when that happens, because it doesn't always.
No.
All right.
And I will say legitimately, this also, same thing. I just had fun writing it. It's ridiculous in every way, shape, and form. And I have a sequel now. Ooh, ah. And then book 3 is when I kill Tim Wolf and Trinity Cunningham. So.
And with that said, Mike and I are not going to be back until next Tuesday, when we talk to BK Gibson
and his wife.
Okay, I will be here tomorrow.
Ben and Karen Gibson.
Okay, I'll be here tomorrow at 7 for a half hour of quiet writing time with no heavy metal music in the background. So the random writing prompt, if you want to join us for that, that'd be cool. Michael, thank you very much for playing and
Yeah,
hanging out with us.
thanks
Appreciate
for
that.
having me.
Hope things are good up in Ontario and summer is making its way up there.
Yeah, eventually.
So, Michael, I have to ask you before we go. I could probably ask off camera, but I'm going to ask now. Are you going to Worldcon next year in Montreal?
Yes, I
I
definitely
would hope so.
am. Yeah, as my daughter's super excited about going, so I have to go. I'm not a
Okay.
huge people person, so I will spend maybe an hour in the actual con, looking at stuff, and then I will retire to wherever the sort of a bar con event is happening, and all the writers are hanging out, and
I'll be there.
to have a pint
So-
or two there.
I went to Seattle last year, and my thing, because I was like, just being in a roving pack of authors to go see panels was just like, oh my god, I'd rather just stay home, or go to work. So what I did, my secret, and I hopefully will be able to do this again, is I just talked to Palmer Pickering and said I want to volunteer in the freebie lounge. Because everyone will come there at least at some point to get a free book or two. I can talk to them. I can go away from people and just not talk to people. So I highly recommend it. If Palmer is still doing it, I will be her huckleberry, as was said before, because it's wonderful. I don't have to deal with people, and I'm still there at the con. So I highly recommend it.
Sounds like a good plan.
When is that? Is it like September, August?
August, September, something like that.
Okay, so good weather up there. Good. Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
and Montreal's a gorgeous city.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There are some parts that are more fun than others, but you're bringing your daughter, so we won't go there.
I've only ever been to Niagara Falls in Canada, so.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us and spending another hour of your life that you could have done something useful with, but we certainly appreciate you hanging out and, listening to our thoughts on the Canadian healthcare system, which is great, by the way. So, and Michael, thank you for hanging out with us. We know you have better things to do, like writing books and, going and having a beer on your porch. But
Important stuff.
you could have had a beer with us. That would have been fun.
Well, next time.
All right. So tomorrow I'm here, and next Tuesday Mike and I are here, and later this month we have big news, but we're not going to tell you what it is yet. You're going to have to wait.
Secret project.
So with that, Mike, take us home.
Okay, it's time to wave awkwardly as we wait for the video to end, which